lived under a cloud just as I have. It's the reason that I stopped doing Change My Minds, where there were 12 felonious assaults, attempts at battery, and attempts on my life, and I know quite a few, and many I don't, of Charlie Kirk. I want to be clear. I want those on the left to speak freely and to be able to host their events with minimal security as they do now for the rest of their lives. Just as surely, I want them to be deathly terrified of showing up and acting with the increasing violence as they have at our events. And that goes both ways. Hey, if there's a spat of right-wing violence that's spreading across this country, treat those people the same way that we treat yours. But you won't find it. And let me just address a couple of things here. What I think leads to violence, they'll try and blame it on Donald Trump. They'll give us a bunch of reasons. Let me be really clear here. Joe Walsh will say that this is an overreaction. He said that yesterday. He doesn't understand why this is a big deal. That's untrue. He will say that statistically more violence comes from the right. That's provably untrue. He's been stating for days that the shooter was in fact not a leftist and we didn't know. That's provably untrue. He will create a false equivalency between Charlie Kirk and the murder of the Hortmans in Minnesota. That's provably untrue. And finally, he will place
You'll need
blame
a
as the
top-notch
left and
team
the
to win
spineless
this
right
one.
does for all of this on Donald Trump, conservatives, rising figures, and the rhetoric for temperatures in this country. That is provably untrue. Donald Trump ran on law and order and won because of leftist violence. All of this, let me finish with this. All of this is by design so that the left and spineless right can make this conversation.
I will bring peace to this universe, no matter the cost.
To the cold-blooded terroristic assassination and gleeful celebration thereafter of a young man who did nothing more than sit down at a table and allow anyone to speak their opinion. And I know what it's like because I was in
I am
that
no
spot.
golden god. I am simply a man who wishes to use his power for good.
And I do believe that I'm partially responsible for this. I failed people. I've had to do a lot of soul searching.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
The idea was, hey, calling the left on their bluff, civil dialogue with anyone.
Your soul is divided.
And hundreds of hours, and it got increasingly violent.
That is not the only fissure I sense.
How about you sense your own business?
Conversations. I
Perfect
advocated for it,
human.
and Charlie took it to another level. He was unbelievable at it. What I didn't do, I didn't tell people about the threat.
The battle
because
starts
I didn't
in
want
5,
copycats.
4,
I didn't tell them about
3,
terrorists from Yemen
2,
through Sweden showing
1.
up in East Grand Rapids. I
Ready
didn't
to
tell them about
capture the
concrete
available
milkshakes.
area and
I didn't tell them
extract
about
some
my tires
goodies?
getting slashed.
Let's
about
go!
people trying to
There are
firebomb
threats
my car,
ahead
and
even
maybe
greater
I would
than
have
what the
picked up the phone.
dooms have
Maybe if I would
unleashed.
have used this megaphone to tell people it's real life out there, and the left wants you to.
Enemy in front of us.
Fighting chance. Maybe I could have done more. Right now, I'll tell you that.
Cosmic might.
Healing powers.
We are in this together.
Turrets blow. I'm infantry again. Whatever that microphone is, and you think about putting it on bring down the temperature. Okay. Bring down the temperature to doing something like, I don't know, the cosmos heals you. The table and allowing
Great job. You're loading up on
opinion to
resources.
discuss it rationally. Would that bring down the temperature? Because they took his weapon.
Everything.
Cosmic balance is restored.
Healing power.
My strength has increased.
A tiny boost. Oh yeah! Your team is ready to rumble, baby!
Some assistance, please.
No, I get it. And I feel it. And I appreciate Steven Crowder expressing how he feels. I really do.
Healing power.
Uh-oh! The other team is extracting those resources!
My strength has increased.
doing this my way.
The cosmos heals you.
Any healing is good healing.
Not to say that this is
Great job! You're loading up on resources!
Utah, they only heated up my left did. I didn't.
Quantum magic.
Looks like resources are running low. Get ready to find another available area. You've got competition! Clear the enemies to extract more resources!
Born again!
Battlefield ready again.
You said you were wrong anyway. When this
said we
first time
don't
I
know.
talked to you, or even
We don't know. We know he's
chance
family
is
in Utah,
over.
and you retweeted
No,
people,
no,
and you
no,
went
no.
out and said, this guy is not in the
Quantum magic.
Just in time. Good news! You stockpiled half the resources you need today. All gone. Area.
Why he did it. So let's all
Survive this!
No. But we did know.
yesterday.
He sold his soul to Trump before
Destiny
the body was
awaits.
cold. And criticizing his wife.
Stephen, let me finish, brother, please. And then
Okay, but
we
you knew.
find
Go
out
ahead.
in no uncertain terms, by the way, Pierce, which I think all of us could have guessed, this was a political assassination. And he shot her. Clearly, and as you said, Pierce, it's clear that whole league had become radical.
Feel better. It's clobbering time!
That is honest and honest.
We are in this together.
But not. Yeah, but is it honest on your side, Stephen? Be honest. Is it honest to say
Great job! You're loading up on resources!
there has been historically a lot of violence associated with violence in America? That again is just a demonstrable fact. Pretend there's never been any. But it would be disingenuous.
Demonstrable
isn't
fact
it?
by what? No, it's not.
Healing
disingenuous.
power.
It's absolutely right. I understand because I've seen Joe and people other retweeting that ludicrous potato
Feel better already.
from a recent Economist article. Something very. I can tell you how all of those numbers are wrong.
Our foes have arrived.
You've got competition! Clear the enemies to extract more resources!
That wasn't listed as political violence. Look at
We
that
are in
chart.
this
Year
together.
2020, Summer of Love, no political violence from the left. I could go through the methodology, and I have brilliant researchers who have. It is demonstrably untrue. No one is saying there is no violence on the right. What I am saying is that people on the right have to have armed security, black jackets, and entire
cosmos
strategy
heals.
when they go out.
In time.
That's verifiably true. What is dishonest?
Feel better already.
You've got competition! Clear the enemies to extract more resources!
Comedy show right here. No one would have known that motivation. We found it, we leaked it,
Speed is
processed
everything.
it, we verified it, and we were
Oh,
met with
you both
resistance and
clinched the
threats of
win.
lawsuits from the
Resources are
local
nearly
police
tapped out
department, the
here,
mayor,
too.
and the
Sorry.
FBI. They said it was a lie on the outset, just like they said the engravings on the bullet casings were a lie on the outset. The left lies. They labeled you fascist.
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner!
And how do you deal with those people? Well, you don't do it at the ballot box. We all know that.
Judge, jury, execute!
Another epic victory! Big win!
Honestly, I was impressed. It does sound brilliant. It's most of the platforms are afraid to do. It's an app and a website. Across the spectrum. Left, right, international, lays it all out side by side. That kind of transparency is increasingly rare. It is vital. Ground News helps you to dig in, find the facts by showing you who owns each outlet, what their bias is, and which stories are being buried. Has an especially revealing blind spot feed, which surfaces stories being reported almost exclusively by only one side of the political divide. I want to hear every side. Ground News makes that possible and easy. It's independent, funded by subscribers and not corporate interests, just like my show. And it's a tool that puts the power back in your hands. Go to groundnews.com/peers to claim your 40%
The right
discount,
heroes could make
get
all
unlimited
the
access
difference.
Vantage plan and see what everyone else is missing. That's groundnews.com/peers.
Every position that the right holds has been presented as violence, including silence, by the way. I know there's a poster behind Joe Walsh right next to his No Kings poster. In other words, if you're pro-life,
I will
it's
bring
violence against
peace to
women.
this
If you're
universe,
against men and
no
women's
matter
sports,
the
it's violence
cost.
against trans, it's genocide, it's erasing them. If you're against Juneteenth as a holiday, it's violence. You're pro-First Amendment, violence because you're inciting violence. You're pro-Second Amendment, violence because we believe people should be able to commit gun violence. And then if we remain silent, that's also violence. And so people deal with the right with violence. Here's my
Where
chance
there
to
is
find
evil
one.
in this
One.
universe, I
One
will be
example
there to balance it.
of a Charlie Kirk on the left, not an elected official. I'll allow any speaker, any
He'll be
comedian
coming in 30
this
seconds.
century. One
Stay
example
strong.
of somebody who was murdered, assassinated, hemorrhaged out in front
The
of his
actual
family in
Magneto.
cold blood, and
Wow.
gleefully celebrate thereafter. And the polls showed
No,
that a
but you
majority,
should know magnetism
according to
doesn't
you
work on
guys,
super
recently,
cool materials.
of Democrats,
Guess what I can do?
it's somewhat too acceptable. 38%, 77% of Republicans said not acceptable at all.
Okay, let Joe
The
respond.
battle
Saying that
starts in
Charlie Kirk was
5,
hunted. He was
4,
hunted. We are
3,
being hunted, and
2,
I don't want to see
1.
any more dead friends.
You have to stop them from securing the mission area.
Defensive violence.
Okay,
I'll just stay pure.
I require some aid.
I was worried.
Quantum magic.
Right?
Stay at the spot.
I think you and I first would agree.
Thanks. Feel the light in the darkness. The cosmos heals you. I feel better already.
No, I don't agree with the premise. And I'm not going to agree with the nebulous premise because it doesn't know that. The very source that you cite.
Healing power.
Let's do it like grown-ups. You
I am at your service.
it's not included.
This time I need healing.
Man shot dead for voting Trump, not included. Those numbers are not trusted. And not acceptable. To answer your question, one of mine answers. Go ahead, please.
Born again!
I am at your service.
By the eye of
Stay at the spot.
Let me get you to go to my case.
You need me.
Everything you said.
Feel the wrath of the goddess!
Hurts.
okay, let me jump in.
Portal through space has been opened. This time I need
Well, the right behaved very bad. It was over attack on Nancy Pelosi. The memes, the mockery, and so on. I thought that was very distasteful. Would you agree, Steve?
If you want to argue between a man and
I'm opening a portal.
I'm not saying
a
equivocal.
bleeding out in front of his child.
I'm not saying they're equivocal. I'm just saying it's an
A
example.
shortcut for space.
People on the right. It's not like this is
Thanks for the shield.
I don't think it's even remotely proportional. Let me ask a question here. This is why I'm giving this message, and this is why I hope people listen and
You need to
protect their
stop
own.
that vehicle in
Joe
its
Walsh,
tracks.
you're there. And to answer the question, you're there, Utah, in the crowd. It's not a Mouser, it's not a 30-06. But it's a man winding up a milkshake for Charlie Kirk. We don't know if it's strawberry, chocolate, vanilla, acid, or
Better
concrete.
stop that vehicle.
Do you hurt him?
some assistance, please. Quantum magic. Stay at the spot.
A nice deep freeze.
Quantum magic.
Get up here!
By the eye of Agamotto!
There's still a chance to stop them.
Feel the wrath of the goddess!
Destiny awaits.
Do the same, correct? If somebody were throwing a
You can
chocolate
count on
milkshake
me.
at a
I got a plan.
at a left-wing speaker, correct?
No, the reason I bring it up is because we didn't. We didn't.
This is a nice spot.
They hit a checkpoint. Now might be a good time to stop them.
Now I would. Yes. Have I answered your question? Yes.
I'll
now I would.
patch you up. Don't mind me. I'm just dying. Better than my new. Okay, hold your horse.
Stop
I'll deploy another beacon.
violent attack on any public figure speaker that we saw.
Ooh, that felt nice. You're ready for action.
Thanks so much.
That we should condemn all political violence. End of story.
I'm condemning, of course, all political violence. It is coming from one side, and the prescription is ruthless, aggressive, defensive, lawful violence on anyone who
Better
tries. If
stop
someone
that
behaves in a
vehicle.
way, for example, I've been sucker punched, I've been collar dragged, I've had attempts on my life, I have been dogged. If anyone behaves in a way where they behave that way,
Be your best self.
at a restaurant, my family, will result in their severe
It's now or never.
They deserve
Stop
it, at a
them.
political rally, they deserve it.
Some assistance, please.
That's why you see it's not just like a showing children a sniper in order to create a generation.
Don't give them another inch. Or else.
They don't fear any ramifications. One example of a Charlie Kirk, not an elected official.
Disappear!
By the eye of Agamotto! The wrath of the goddess!
In relation to that, I saw Charlie Kirk produce
Well, expect a little more.
the difference, for example, between the reaction to the murder of George Floyd, which I thought was despicable, and the murder of Charlie Kirk, which was despicable, is that one precipitated nationwide rioting and lawlessness as people were so enraged they took to the streets, and the other took to people going to church. You know,
Also,
and
call me when Charlie Kirk
But
died of a
Pierce,
speed.
no, but I thought it was
he mugged a woman with his toddler.
I thought it was an interesting.
Floyd hurt people.
I thought it was an interesting observation, Joe. In terms of the difference.
And I appreciate it. First, let me sneak in one more thing before Stephen goes off. Also, the assassination of Democratic Melissa Hortman in Minnesota by an anti-abortion Trump
You'll need a
supporter.
top-notch
You
team
did
to win
Walls
this one.
After that, and the other thing you did
man who
not
blames
see
Tim Walz.
after a. Let me finish, Stephen. Let me finish, brother.
You don't have to be a witch to find the magic in this world, but it does help.
After a Democrat was assassinated in Minnesota,
I will
you
bring
also
peace to this
did not
universe,
see the
no matter the
Democrat Party on
cost.
left declaring a war on the right, saying that they did it, the evildoers did it. This is a battle between good and evil. You didn't hear any of that when the Democrat was assassinated. We should condemn both.
I am
Condemn
not golden
anybody
god.
celebrating
I am simply a man who
Charlie
wishes to
Kirk's
use his
right
power
to
for
be
good.
And we should also condemn anyone using
30 seconds
Charlie
before you
Kirk's
attack. Get
murder
ready.
to call for declare some war on half of the country, and this is a battle between the good and evil. Both of those reactions are dangerous
Okay.
and despicable.
Final word to Stephen. Stephen, final word to you.
Wrong. I think using Charlie Kirk as saying that he sold his soul to Trump before the body's even cold. I agree with Charlie Kirk's reaction to George Floyd because the media
Battle
lies
starts in
commit
5,
dishonesty. And I'm not
4,
calling for a civil war. I made it very clear I
3,
want the left to be able to
1.
continue to speak without security and resistance. I just want them to be deathly afraid to try what they've been doing right for a very long, forevermore going forward. But if we talk about this haters one time that there weren't riots, yeah, what about all the times that there were and they weren't registered as politics?
Might return.
Charlie Kirk didn't hurt anybody. George Floyd did. Charlie Kirk is very, very different from George Floyd. Dishonesty is what foments, I'll leave you with this, is what foments violence. And you know what? When you say war of good and evil, show me one time where the people who are actually evil are willing to paint a war of good and evil. Because you know what? If it comes to that, God forbid, maybe the people advocating for abortion up until and including birth and genital mutilation for children, including hiding them from their parents in the state of Minnesota, Minnesota. Maybe they could look around at themselves and say, hey, if this is a war of good and evil, maybe we're the bad.
Keep
Okay,
going.
I'm going to leave it there. Thank you both so very much. I appreciate it. If you're stressed about taxes, deadline, causing a mess, don't wait. IRS is cracking down. Penalties add up fast, 5% per month, up to 25% for not filing. Tax Network USA can help. They've assisted thousands of Americans, employees, business owners, and people who haven't filed for years. They have direct access to programs and expert negotiators on their site. Tax Network USA knows how to do it. You'll get a free consultation, and they may be able to reduce or eliminate what's or visit tnusa.com/peers. That's tnusa.com/peers.
I have
expert help on your taxes. Charlie Kirk used new media to devastating effect in his mission to mobilize young people.
You are nothing!
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Great appetite for topical debates. It's too amazing. Together. Plenty of things under the line. Talent. We're not really living in real life. And the business of saying
Born again! Enjoy the amplifier!
many prominent things on the planet. Don Lemon has been exactly that. Making the very same claim about that whole
You don't really care about Charlie Kirk. What you care is that this is a moment that you can use to afflict, to boost your podcast or your
Vehicle reached
streaming
the
show or
checkpoint.
your
Keep
radio
up the
show
momentum.
or your television show or your news show or your MAGA bona fides with the MAGA group or your political stripes. If you can improve it, you can have a moment where you're holding one of the cameras, you gather all the reporters at the captain, you go, and it's your fault, and it's your fault, and it's the left, and whatever.
I have found more lost souls. Anchor like me. Many popular podcasts. And he joins me now. John, how are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you? Good to see you.
We were both greatly lamented ex-CNN anchors. In fact, we shared an office. You took my old office. I feel like we've done a lot of history together. Your reaction to Charlie Kirk's on people on the right, particularly the split we just heard, when I talk about them not really caring about what happened to him and reacting to things fine.
Supernova! AT! Enjoy the amplifier!
Well, I've not detected any of that myself. I do think that they were genuinely, utterly horrified by what happened. Do you not think that what you said there was interesting?
No, I don't. I'm surprised because I was actually taking up for Charlie. I was taking up for him as someone who died a horrible, untimely death. And that there are people who are out here trying to capitalize off of his death. I don't think it's that much different than what, his friend, who is his confirmed friend, Candace Owens, is saying about folks who are using it for political and for career expediency. There are those who are doing it, and there are those who are not. And if you are not, then I don't think anyone who's not doing it should be
Born again!
There's an old saying, there's a big dog will howl. For the ones, the folks who I felt with those statements,
I have risen.
then perhaps they should take a look at themselves. And by the way, as you know, peers, you've been a victim of this. Many of us have been a victim of this. You take a clip, you do a short clip that is out of context, and then you make it into something that you want to see rather than what I said. I don't see any amplifier at all of me saying, running clips of me saying, I think, it was horrible.
Maximum pulse!
The kids are fatherless. She does not have a husband right now. I don't believe political violence at all, whether it's from the right or the left. No one played those clips. What they did was take someone like me that they can demonize. They feel that I'm on the left. As you know, peers who work together, I'm not on the left. I am not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm not on the right either. I have my own mind, and I make up my mind on the side of issues political ideology.
Well, the Keely's people are clearly a lot more left than right, surely. I mean, I've never heard you espouse conservative say.
Help would be good.
I am a lot more fact-based.
Supernova!
And so I don't believe you are free to think that I'm on the left. Perhaps in this time that we're in now with the Trump administration with MAGA, perhaps facts are on the left. If you deem that being on the left, then so be it. I don't see myself as being a political thinker.
I mean, it's interesting your characterization about facts, because I would argue that one of the reasons Trump got re-elected against all the odds, if you think about what happened after January 6th and everything else, the fact that he got re-elected, I always felt was three-pronged, right? One was immigration. I think Biden completely dropped the ball with immigration, the southern border. The universe has a great plan. And thirdly, the whole woke culture, and in particular, I would say, the issue for classes of trans athletes and women's, which is, to me, if you're talking about facts, it is something that most Americans looked at and went,
Born again!
how can you go against scientific facts? So many would argue that it was the Democrats who lost track of movements towards what that great surreal place where they were trying to deny stuff which most Americans went
Helpful.
Pure
cosmic energy. Ultron will not consume this blessed land.
The Democratic Party not understanding the moment that
Vehicle reached the checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
as far as trans athletes, I think that was, although I understand
Cosmic
people,
justice.
it is a big deal. It is such a minute, small percentage of the population. The trans athletes that are actually in schools and are competing and in competitions. It's so minor that it affects so few Americans. I'm shocked that it was used to the level that it was in the election and to great success. And so I must commend the Republican Party that wasn't real
Maximum pulse!
that they made it into something that helped the president into office.
You see, I've heard a lot of Democrats using that argument. And I've said to them, one of the most effective... I'm not saying you're a Democrat, I'm just saying I've heard a lot of Democrats say it. And my argument to them has been, but I've seen the New York Times reporting that the they then act that Trump put out was gathered momentum and then became more and more. It was one of the most effective...
It was extremely successful.
It was one of the most successful... I think, again, about common sense, that most Americans actually, maybe they don't have it in their top five things they care about. I would absolutely accept that. But when you actually ask them, do you think this is fair? Do you think it's right? Do you think it's good that
Only
women's
60
rights
seconds
would be
left.
eroded? They actually then do get quite exercised about it. Hello and welcome. We begin with some breaking news. Woke is dead. The war on common sense is officially over. Cancelled celebrities are emerging from jail. Virtue signals
Get that vehicle moving again.
mass ridicule. And we are finally stage phase.
Supernova! Assist the world.
Dead is my as well as its most effective heroes. Villains was dominated.
Born again!
10 years of mad. My purpose was to back to a less divided where debate is king will be shot by how much he believes me.
You'll have to keep fighting until we
Look, I'm not here to argue over trans rights. I don't think it necessarily cut to the argument of common sense. I think they simply found an issue that they could capitalize on based on fear or some perceived religious value or what have you. So I'm not going to sit here and demonize trans people, trans women, or trans men because I just don't think that is fair and that is productive in this moment. I'm not going to go back and litigate why Donald Trump won and on the issue of trans. We simply disagree on that. I think it affects so few people. I think it was something that was blown out of proportion. And while, you know, there may be some people who are affected by it, and if they are, I'm sorry that happens, but happens. But I just don't think that was an issue that focuses.
So when you see, for example, in the Paris Olympics, when you saw Imam Khalif, an Algerian boxer who had been banned from the World Championships for testing positive for male chromosomes, when you saw a young female Italian boxer quit after 40 seconds because she'd never been hit that hard and genuinely feared for her life, and Imam Khalif goes on to win gold medal at the Olympics, does that not ring an alarm bell for you, Don? I mean, do you not think the reason we separate sexes in the Olympics is because males have an advantage? I mean, why would you not think that's important? It's
do you want me to tell you the truth?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Piers, I'll tell you the truth about this. I heard about this story, but it's not something that I focus on. I'm not watching the Olympics like that. Maybe I'm different. I'm just not. I'm not that interested in watching everything. I like to watch the swimming. I like to watch the gymnastics. I'm not interested in boxing or any of that because I think it's a brutal sport anyway. So for me, it's just not that interesting. I'm sorry that anybody was hit that hard, but if you put yourself in the arena to be hit and someone hits you hard, then whose fault is that?
Well, you expect to be hit by other women, not men.
Sure. But sometimes we take stuff.
They'll be coming in 30
don't know
seconds.
that. I don't
Stay
know
strong.
When men hit women, we call it
I'm sure she saw. I'm sure whoever was in that competition understood who they were going into the ring with. And if you put yourself in that competition in the middle of a ring where punches are being thrown, then you can expect to get hit hard, whether it is a man or a woman. And that's all I have to say.
So you would have no objection to men fighting women in a boxing ring?
4, 3, 2,
I did not say that. I just said that's all I have to say about that.
But isn't that the implication of
you
what
need to
you're saying?
stop that vehicle in its tracks.
No, I said in many different ways. That's all I have to say about that.
You're welcome.
Right. I'm just trying to clarify what you just said about the boxing. Are you saying it's okay for
I
men
think
to
I've been very clear. That's all I have to say. And I think I've been very clear to you. That's all I have to say.
I'm just startled by what
If you don't understand.
No, I'm just startled by what I think I just heard, which is you seem to think it's okay for men to hit women in a boxing ring. Is that what you said?
Rocky needs some healing
I don't think it's okay for men to hit women anyway.
A nice deep
Why did
breath.
you get
We got a live shooter.
Well, again, I didn't say it's okay in a boxing ring. I just said that's all I have to say.
So then it sounds like you agree with me that biological men should not be competing against women in a boxing ring.
Piers, no matter how
This is a
hard
nice
you
spot.
try to, I told you, that's it.
It's
I'm
not a
done
gotcha
answering that
question,
I'm not
Don.
agreeing with you.
It's not a gotcha question.
I'm not saying it's a gotcha question. I'm just saying that I am done with this particular conversation. I don't think that it is productive. I've said what I said, and I'm not changing it. I don't agree with you. That's it.
That
But if you
sniper's
were
gonna be
doing
sorry
your
if I
own
ever
show
get
at
close.
CNN, you would have listened to your own response.
They hit a
Don.
checkpoint. Now might be a good time to stop them.
I probably would have said, okay, that's what you said, and then I would move on.
A nice deep breath.
You criticized the MAGA right for turning Charlie Kirk into a martyr. You said if a white man on the left went around saying what Kirk said,
You're welcome.
the right wouldn't consider him a hero. It's an interesting point. Let's take a listen.
Be careful here.
I was worried.
White women
Follow the
do
enemy.
not have brain processing power
A
and are
nice deep
stealing
breeze.
You're
jobs
welcome.
from black men.
That blocker
The
hurt.
right would fucking lose their mind. Mark Lamont Hill.
See, I'm blocking help.
Rolling.
This is a
Michael
nice
Eric Sykes.
spot.
Let's say these brothers are Bakari Sellers or it's someone like that. If they went around saying some shit like that, they would be canceled immediately.
This is a nice
They would be
spot.
fired.
He stopped him
People
in
would
their
scrub
tracks.
them from their whatever business
I'll
that they
patch you
work
up.
for. Or if they say, look, I can hear I'm like, damn, we're gonna, I'm worried.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've seen that a lot.
This is real firepower.
Where are you watching all this? I haven't seen any of this blow up that you're talking about.
Behold the torn again.
I have not seen it.
Okay.
Maybe I was not on social.
It's a discussion that is prompted by the fact that Joy Reid, who you know well, had admitted she only got into Harvard because of DEI.
Here
So he
comes
said it all in the
Rocket again.
context of her revealing that,
Better stop that
and which I think changes the impact of what he was saying. He wasn't just coming out with this. He was saying, there's Joy Reid admitting that she only got into Harvard because of DEI.
Someone scratch my...
What's your question?
So my question is, you cited that example of him just unilaterally saying black women don't have the brain processing power and so on. But when you actually watch the whole clip in context, that's not what he said.
You're making my point about the clip before, and which is the same point about the clip now that he played, where the context is explained, which is he was on Sheila Jackson Lee at the time he was back. It wasn't DEI that they were referring to. They were having discussions
Behold the God of Thunder!
about qualified people, qualified women of color who were offered opportunities or given opportunities that they may not have been given if it were not for affirmative action. Nothing to do with diversity.
Might be a good time to stop
And so
that.
he said, and I watched the clip, he said that what they were admitting to is that they were somehow
Destiny
a DEI
awaits.
hire and so on, and about brain processing power. I would suggest that you go back and listen to the clip that clip in context of what he was saying. He clearly said what he said, and I guess because of political ideology or because of bias, people are trying to interpret it and make it into something else that is not
Born again!
the brain processing or lack of brain
Charlie Kirk said a lot of people on the left have come out.
Born again!
Child!
And they turned out to be doctors, nurses, people in extraordinary positions of power over other human beings. What should happen to those people?
Well, I think we should look at
Some
every
of my best friends are
circumstances.
crooks and
It should be taken
villains.
on the circumstances should be taken on their own merit.
Hey,
And what should happen to them should be taken, on
That was a
individual
little
merit.
messed up there.
Look at each of them.
Thanks.
Now, I don't believe that anyone should be celebrating anybody.
Extermination!
And I don't think anyone should be celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. We know, and you know, Piers, that freedom of speech does come with consequences, and there are limits, there are limitations to
You're welcome.
freedom of speech. And if you work
Wait,
for a
isn't he
private
the guy
company,
who was supposed to
they have the
solve all
right to
this?
fire you or discipline you for whatever it is that they want. If you break the rules, their codes of conduct, then you have to suffer the circumstances. So, look, I 100% unequivocally believe that no one should be celebrating
Jury! Executioner!
the rules of their employer,
Well, you
their
can't expect
code of
it
conduct,
all.
then they should be disciplined or fired if it wants to.
Do you agree?
But I don't believe in cancel.
Right.
I think there's a lot of cancellation going on the right now, and I'm not comfortable with it.
Do you
I
feel
wasn't comfortable with it on the left either.
right? Do you feel you were a victim of cancel culture at CNN?
I probably. I don't think. I look at everything as an opportunity. Probably yes. I'm sure that I was a victim of cancel culture, but I would say mostly on the right for cancel culture.
For those who don't know what I'm talking about, this is what led to you leaving CNN. Let's take a look at the clip.
She says people, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What do you
That's
call
not according-
wait?
That's not according to me.
Prime for what?
It depends. It's just like prime. If you look it up, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s. I don't know.
Oh, I got it
I'm
another
not saying I
decade.
agree with that. So I think she has to be careful about saying that.
When you watch that, Don, I happened to be watching that live, and I was like, "Whoa, what did you just say?" If you had a
The
do-over
right heroes could make all the difference.
Google
I'm for-
in her 20s something.
to you leaving CNN, let's take a look at the clip.
She says people, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What do you
That's
call
not
it?
according-
I will
bring
that's not
peace
according
to this
me.
universe.
Prime for what?
No matter the
It
cost.
depends. It's just like prime. If you look it up, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s. I don't necessarily.
40s. Oh, I got it
I'm
another
not saying I
decade.
agree with that. So I think she has to be careful about saying that.
When you watch that, Don, I happened to be watching that
Where
live,
there is
and I was
evil
like,
in this
"Whoa, what did you
universe,
just say?"
I will be there to
Do you,
balance it.
if you had a do-over, Would you say that again? I mean,
They'll be
what
coming in
made you
30
to
seconds.
say
Stay
that?
Piers, let me just say this. I'm going to answer your question, but just so the audience knows, and I hope you don't cut this out. When I asked you what subjects you wanted to talk about, you know what you said to me? You said, I want to talk to you about freedom of speech in America and the response to Charlie Kirk's death.
Yeah.
Not once did you mention that we were going to talk about CNN or whatever. So, and had I known that, I probably wouldn't have accepted this interview. Just have you have invited me on many times, and I tell you, Piers, I know you. I would come on your show, but I don't do Pam.
I have found
And so when you said that I'm not going to be involved in Pam, I agree. But I thought you would also stick by the subjects that you told me that you were going to talk about.
Just to be clear, just to be clear, you and I haven't, well, just to be clear, you and I haven't had any conversation about it. We're talking about the team.
I am actually Cosmic Might return.
Yeah, no, and I saw you, Piers, in a restaurant, and I said, hey, Piers, good to see you. I just want your show, but I don't do Pam.
Right.
And I said the same thing to your book. And so when I asked you, okay, and so, yes, and I said that's why I agreed to do it. But when you asked me, or when your team asked me what subjects, and I asked them 2 or 3 times, I have a text messages, what do you want to cover? Not once was CNN mentioned. So I don't appreciate being answered. No, let me answer your question.
Hang on one second. Okay. Hang on one second. Let's just be crystal clear about what's just happened. You brought up the substance of cancer. I asked you, did you feel your departure from CNN was an example of that? And you answered the question. I think it's perfectly reasonable.
And I answered the question.
Perfectly reasonable. You said to me, I don't want to talk about it. Fine. You said what you're going to say. By the way, we don't
I don't like arguing like this. I'm not going to go into an argument because I think that's completely disingenuous. And I think anyone watching that. So if you will allow me, please.
Willing to help?
What are you talking about?
Did you invite me here to interrupt me, or are you going to let me?
You're being a complete dick if I'm honest with you. I do.
Well, that's very kind.
It wasn't intended to be kind.
I could respond in kind.
You can say what you like about me.
I think that I'm above that. I'm not going to do that.
Born again!
I understand why you're playing the victim. You yourself mentioned cancel culture.
Because Piers.
Armed and dangerous!
We are
Again!
Yeah, I can. The team messages to you because
He's prepared to talk about it.
you know that. I'm prepared to answer your question, and then I'm going to move on. I told you I'm prepared.
Extermination!
The response to it, and cancel culture, and freedom of expression.
You were prepared to talk about cancel culture, or you weren't?
Unless you...
Stop them!
No. I'm not prepared
you're not prepared to talk about
cancel culture. So oh my God, Piers, could you stop interrupting me?
Not really. You're kind of exhausting me. It's ridiculous. Obviously, if you mention cancel culture, obviously it's rational and logical. Whether you felt what happened to you at CNN was that I played the clip and then you felt
a moment, enough. I've given you your moment. It went viral, so please. Yes, you do. Otherwise, you wouldn't do this. Otherwise, you would be a respectful journalist and host, and you would because you want to. Oh my God, Piers. I can't even hear because there's a delay, and you keep
so much to do.
And I mean, what do you want me to do? Like rip the earpiece out in the mic and run off so you have a moment?
No, I don't care.
Are you
You
going
do
to let me
whatever you
answer the
like.
question? Are you just going to keep? Are you just going to keep pillaring me with questions?
I don't know why you've gone on this weird rant. I don't understand it. Why have you done this weird reaction? I simply asked you about whether you felt your departure from CNN was in your ideals after cancel culture. I played the clip, and I then said, when you watch it back, you understand.
This is why I don't do this, but you're embarrassing yourself here.
You might be embarrassing tiny feelings.
Oh my God.
You want to talk about a story, a massive story, healing you?
Cold-hearted as your name suggests.
Piers, can we move on? You let me answer the question, then we can talk about the things that you invited me on.
Why don't you just answer the question?
and we've gotten so far away from what you wanted to answer that we're off into La La Land. So let me say something about that. The clip that you played had nothing to do with me leaving CNN, okay? And unless you know something that I don't know about me leaving CNN, then you should tell me about it. It has nothing to do. I worked there for months after that. So that has nothing to do with it. And so, you know, I forget the other thing that you were asking me about.
I am at your service.
Thank you. I think the key phrases in that clip, if you want to be honest, and I want you to listen to it, is that I'm not saying that I believe that.
By the eye of Agamotto!
What I was speaking for there is how society and someone like Nikki Haley, women have been discriminated against.
Born again!
She should be more careful than to say something that discriminates against older people. That's it. And so people took that out of context. Whenever they write about it, that I said, I'm not saying that. I don't believe that. I say that very clearly there. So that is not
Armed and dangerous!
And so again, unless you know something, then you know, go ahead.
We are undefeatable!
What was the reason?
Don't believe everything.
What was the reason?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
But it all happened after that incident.
Blaze of glory. Healing
Well,
power.
here, everything happens after something. I don't understand
My point is, I think it's quite hard to say it had nothing to do with that. Then it will raise the obvious
I don't think it's newsworthy, Piers. That was 3 years ago.
I am at your service.
It's not newsworthy. That news means something that's new. This isn't new. Right. That was 3 years ago.
It's the first time
About it. You are free to be able to read the interviews that I read. You're free to read the statement that I issued. I mean, perhaps your folks should fill out the statement when I left CNN, and that can explain to you what happened. So this is nothing new.
no idea why you let go.
Doing something completely different. And so that's that.
You just said you have no idea why they got rid of it.
My favorite time!
Yeah, I did.
Feel better
So
already.
how do you know it wasn't to do with the clip?
By the eye of Agamotto!
Now, what else do you want to talk about?
What do you want to talk about?
Pay more attention.
The subjects that you invited me on to discuss, Peter.
I thought that included free speech. Everything around it.
I know you're loving this viral moment. I just think that
I
you're
don't think you understand what me at all. I've got nothing against you at all. Never have had.
You think I don't understand you, Peter? I've worked with you for years. I know more about you probably than most people who are watching this program. And most people, a lot of people who are with your staff. I inherited your staff at CNN. I know way more about you than I would care to know. I know way more about how you do business and how you approach journalism than I care to know. I have not been on anyone else's show. I don't want to be on anybody's show. I don't want to do panel shows.
We are undefeatable!
What happened to Charlie Kirk from happening to anybody else? I am not trying to speak, but instead you're trying to get a moment. You're trying to
Born again!
Go ahead. Have your fun. We're discussing something that is productive to the American people instead of you going into the garbage and trying to find something that will give you a moment or that you will get a click out of it or more viewers for yourself.
Let's keep fighting until we have a winner.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Bitter. I'm not happiest go lucky person ever. I'm just exposing your hypocrisy and how you lied to me about what you wanted to discuss.
I've never talked to you about this.
I'm good. You don't have conversations with your producers? So your producers lied to me or you're not
You've admitted. One of the subjects you want to talk to you about.
You're not that
We
involved
wanted to
in the
talk to you.
editorial process of
We wanted to talk to you.
where they don't convey to you
By your own admission.
you know what the guest is going to talk about.
You already admitted that one of the subjects was free speech, and yet here you are getting enraged about me exercising my right to
I think this is kind of funny. I'm not raging at all. I mean, it's kind of exactly what I thought.
We are undefeatable!
Because of the spectacle of it all. So the combination of that.
Looks like it.
I'm glad you got this moment, because this is a moment for me as well. That's going to play out on social media. It's going to be good for me too. So go for it.
What moment do you think we've got?
Pierce, come on.
Come on, I don't know what you mean.
Hey, come on. Let's do something that's more productive.
Well, look, you know, honestly, when you do this, when you say that I'm journalism, you do this, or like it's not journalism, you've taken a big high moral ground
Pierce,
about. Hang on, I'll ask you a question.
I am taking a moral high ground. Pierce, you should know better than anyone where this conversation should be going, especially since you understand what happened at CNN with you. With gun control in the United States.
Yeah.
That was a big thing for you when you were at CNN, and I'm not sure what happened, if that was part of the reason that you were let go. But, you know, hey, Pierce, this is Don Lemon. I know you. I've worked with you. I know a lot about you. So let's just move on and be adults. And so let's talk about, I think, something that would be important to you, and that is sensible gun legislation in the United States that would have perhaps prevented the untimely and sad death of Charlie Kirk. Can we do that?
How would it have prevented it happening?
Why don't you
30
tell me,
seconds
because
before you attack. Get ready.
are an expert on the subject. At least you were when you were working at CNN. You were very pro gun legislation, and I believe
I will bring peace to this
correct me
universe,
if I'm wrong,
no matter the cost.
Gun control.
Yeah, I don't understand how you stop a deranged young man who the investigators say has become radicalized to the left from
The
taking
battle
his
starts in
grandfather's
5,
old rifle
4,
and using it
3,
to fire one bullet
2,
that kills Charlie
1.
Kirk. If you can think of a legislation...
All you need to do is
I
capture
think
the
you
mission
just
area.
answered
Got
that.
it?
You said your grandfather's old rifle.
Right.
So look, perhaps it should have been in a safer place. Perhaps
you know where it was?
There should be rules. Hang on. There should be rules as it relates to people in the house who can have possession of guns. And a whole lot of things that we can talk about as it relates to sensible gun control and rules and laws around guns. And so, you know, I don't know if in this moment. I just know that it was a conservative family, a gun-loving family. And so perhaps if we didn't have more guns than people in the United States, and our gun laws weren't so lax, we could prevent a whole lot of these deaths. You know, you're in the UK, all over Europe, all over different continents and different countries in the world. Everybody has mental health issues. Everyone has problems. But you know what they don't have? As easy access to guns as Americans do, and as many guns as Americans do. And so that is the only difference in this. And so to me, the most sensible people in this country all over the world, it seems to us and me that perhaps if we got a handle on that, we too could be like England. We too could be like Ireland. We too could be like Italy. We too could be like even countries that are not a part of Italy. We too could be that.
And do you think one of the reasons why they chose to kill Charlie Kirk is he didn't like his opinion?
If what law enforcement said about the potential that all comes out in evidence and they are true, then
The moon wants you, Dredd!
Disappear!
Against the world!
If this is true, he is admitted.
Okay.
Judge! Jury! Executioner!
Charlie Kirk, because they're doing it just for clicks and stuff about somebody else. And yet,
I said some of it. Okay. I said some of it, not all of it.
Which ones in particular do you think?
Well, if you go back and watch Don Lemon's show on YouTube, or if you watch Don Lemon's social media, you will find I mentioned certain people on YouTube.
So you object to clickbaity headlines about people and death?
Do I object to what?
Clickbaiting headlines about people and death.
I'm opening a portal.
Not necessarily. think that's part of our culture. I think it's part of our culture, and I think it's
Is it something you
a
ever do?
byproduct of it is a byproduct, please, of our siloed media, and I think people perhaps sometimes do it to get attention, whether it's right or whether it's wrong, but sometimes people do it to break through, whether that's right or wrong. It's just simply
The time
what it
opened
is.
your
But
eyes.
do you ever do it?
I am no golden god.
I don't think I
I'm
do it
simply
to
a man who wishes to use his power
any more
for
so than
good.
anyone else. I don't think I do it any more so than the Piers Morgan show or any other show that is based on YouTube. I think
I'm really
30
curious.
seconds before you
Two weeks ago,
attack. Get ready.
2 weeks ago you had a
they'll tell you
headline.
that you have to do something
Well, two
that
weeks ago,
I'm not done talking yet, Piers.
perfect
I'm not done talking yet, Piers.
I
Let me finish
gather
my
that
statement.
was the intent.
I say sometimes you have to do things to get people's attention so that they can click on something and to see if it is important or not, and they can make up their own decision about if they want to continue on with the
Got
content.
it. No, I got it. That's the whole point of clickbait. Yeah. You had a headline 2 weeks
The
ago.
battle
Hot
starts
take,
in
could
5,
Donald Trump
4,
be dying?
3, 2, 1.
Yeah,
All
a
you need
lot
to
of
do
folks
is
did. I think
capture
you
the
probably
mission
did a show
area.
on that as well.
Got it?
No, I didn't.
And because people were asking, if you look at even in some of the mainstream media, people were asking. Donald Trump's administration was not transparent about how sick he was during COVID. And so what leads people to believe that Donald Trump's administration is going to be transparent about what's happening with him now, about what's happening with his hands, what's happening
Together. Let's just be clear. He's obviously
I require so many.
You know what, Don? He wasn't dying. He wasn't dying. You knew he wasn't dying. He's obviously not dying. And he was doing it for clickbait. It's a very big deal. Everybody else would do it.
Donald Trump be done because people are asking if he's done.
Got it.
I don't see that there's anything wrong with that.
Mission area
Not
is
left. Thank
yours.
you very much.
Do you?
Oh, we've run out of time. You know what it's like.
We have done it.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on Uncensored. Piers Morgan Uncensored is proudly independent. The only boss around here is me. If you enjoy our show, we ask for only one
cosmic
simple
might
thing.
returns.
Subscribe on YouTube and follow Piers Morgan Uncensored on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. In return, we will continue our mission to inform, irritate and entertain. Do it all for free. Independent of media has never been so critical. Just do it.
Born again!
Maximum pulse!
Armed and again! Second chances.
I am Asgard's might!
You need me.
Some assistance, please.
You captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
Always led by
Strong together.
Destiny awaits.
Got him, Tippy.
The cosmos heals you.
I appreciate you. Glory is almost yours.
The cosmos heals you.
push but to stretch.
I'm bright like a
Judge! Jury! Executioner!
Us against the world.
quantum magic.
They have been seen and they will not escape.
There's still so much to do. This place is important. We must take control.
Fear Vesta.
I feel better already. Quantum magic.
Thanks so much.
Some assistance, please.
Maximum pulse!
We are in this together.
That put a spring in my step.
I don't have to be center stage. Your team's capture progress has passed the halfway point.
I am Asgard Blood.
Control C! You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
Quantum magic.
Armed and dangerous.
I appreciate
I am at your service.
It's the
Born
grand
again.